Hey guys, Dan here with Battlefield Curator. 2024 was a tough year for a lot of you military surplus collectors out there, and it's okay. I know a lot of folks out there didn't really acquire too much, neither did I. I thought there was gonna be more fruitful acquisitions. It just didn't pan out that way. There was quite a few things I did get, especially at the beginning of 2024. So let's get into it. Top 5 finds. And here we go. All right, so 2024 actually started off pretty good for me. There was quite a few good deals out there and some things I just couldn't pass. So the first great deal that I found is a Swedish Mauser M96 in 6.5. Now the Swedish Mausers are praised for their accuracy. There was a woman who had recently won a vintage rifle competition with a Swedish Mauser M96. Now, the Swedish Mausers are also known for their quality, and you can still find them in really good condition because they weren't really used in combat too often. There was another fellow this year that I think he posted on Instagram. He found a Swedish Mauser M96 with the SA Finnish Army property mark. Those are rare, they're highly coveted, and that means that they were probably issued to some Finnish guys over in the ports during the Winter War and Continuation War. But anyways, I got the Swedish M96 for about $400. So it's actually not a bad deal. The only thing that's really missing is that stock disc, but to me, I just was there for the rifle. Couldn't really care too much more for the aesthetics as long as it was in good condition, which it was. All right, and the number 2 find here for 2024 was this beautiful Russian Mosen PU Sniper. Now, yes, a lot of you guys are probably already noticing it was definitely refurbished for import. Either way, it's still a PU. It's still a very sought after rifle, and they don't make them like that. And the scope itself is actually a really hard to find variant of a PU scope. This scope would have been used on the SVT-40 when it first came out. But yeah, it found its way on this PU rifle. So I got this one for, I want to say, about $1,200. And now you try to find a PU sniper, and man, they have just gotten so expensive. So I definitely wanted to get this one. I definitely wanted to add it to the collection because they just keep going up in value and they're getting harder to find. And I understand that 2024 really wasn't a great year for military surplus collectors. I know a ton of guys that just put a pause to their collecting or slowed it down. I myself even took a pause kind of like in the middle of 2024 and sporadically might have come across some good deals. But I mean, the good deals were just hard to find. There wasn't really a lot out there. And you know, I wanted to take a lot of my capital and put it towards other assets, put it towards other investments. I didn't want to spend so much time looking around for good deals when I knew there just really wasn't a lot out there. But I really wanted to do a lot more historical stuff as well. I wanted to share a lot of history with you guys. Took a couple road trips, got to see Koba 49, got to see Andy Steinel up there in Twinsburg, Ohio. Got to see some other folks around on a road trip with my buddy Mike. When it comes down to it, I think the important thing here is to share history and share military innovations. And so you guys can learn. So if you like what I'm doing here, the best way to support the channel is to go to my website, pick yourself up a shirt or a hoodie. So yeah, I definitely appreciate it if you guys help support the channel in that aspect. Now back to the content. All right, number 3 top acquisition of 2024 had to be a rolling block, a Remington in 7mm Mauser. And when I took this to the range, I definitely realized that, you know, it might not be the most accurate rifle. It shoots high like a lot of rifles from back then. So great acquisition. I really like the aesthetics of it and the little bit of history tied to it. It was in a rifle caliber, the 7mm Mauser in smokeless powder. Very interesting history tied to it because of its use in Central and South American countries, militaries. But yeah, there's just a lot of history tied to the rolling block in the 1800s. You really got to think that rolling blocks were very popular during the 1800s. It really wasn't until the lever action came out in the actual rifle calibers like the Winchester 1894, which shot the 30-30. Prior to that, you had like the Sharps rifles and the rolling blocks and some other single shot rifles out there. The reality is, you know, it's just a rifle from a bygone era. You know, not too many people just get a single shot rifle these days. Definitely an iconic piece. All right, number 4 acquisition here is a M1903 Springfield rifle. This one was specifically tied to the United States Marine Corps during World War II. The Marine Corps and the Navy were using a lot of these rifles during that time frame because they weren't able to get their hands on M1 Garands, and neither did they want the M1 Garands just yet. The Army was getting fielded with a lot of M1 Garands during the early part of World War II, so a lot of Marines had to use 1903s. This one was in great condition. It came from a veterans organization most likely and ended up at the CMP, the Civilian Marksmanship Program. And if you don't know what the CMP is, it's a nonprofit organization that, that deals with youth marksmanship training programs, and they also sell military surplus rifles and other small gear and accessories and stuff like that. And sometimes you can get stuff for really cheap. So when it comes down to it, I didn't really pay too much for this 1903 coming from the CMP. I think it was like 820 bucks or something, 830 bucks. And it had all these markings. It was in great condition. It was really accurate. And it's just a cool piece of history that tells a small part of World War II and how the US weapons were issued during that time frame. And like I said, I got it for cheap at the CMP, and I'm glad I did because it wasn't only but a few months later that the CMP announced that they had run out of M1903 rifles. That's it, they were sold out. I was like, whoa, I guess I picked up this 1903 at the right time. Now, the CMP also stated that they had Krag Jorgensen's, the 1892, 96, and 98s, and some of the cut down carbines as well. So CMP is just known for having that US surplus for a really good deal for the most part. The Krags, I think, were a little high priced, but the M1 Garands are pretty fair priced or under fair value. Like I said, I mean, I've gotten some pretty decent ones for around the $750, $800 price range, though I think nowadays the ones that they have over there for that price, they're not going to be in the best condition. I think back in the day, yeah, you could get them for a really good condition. Just these days, not so much. But definitely check out the CMP if you're looking for some good deals. I've got videos, you know, I'll put one in the description if you want to learn more about the CMP. All right, and my best acquisition of 2024 is a Ross rifle. A Canadian Ross rifle. This one has been sporterized, sadly, but I got it at a pretty decent deal compared to what you can get on the military surplus market as far as Ross sporterized rifles go. Now, the Ross rifle in general is very high priced. These were used during World War I by the Canadian military. When they first got issued, there were so many problems with them. There was a lot of politics involved. It's chambered in the .303 British, but it's a straight pull design. They're really accurate. This is probably the smoothest straight pull bolt action rifle I've ever handled. And I've shot the K31, I've shot the M95, and I have to say that the Ross rifle is smoother than both of those. So definitely sought after. They got a bad reputation during World War I because of the amount of issues and problems they had because, yeah, it was accurate, but it just wasn't built for combat. There were certain issues with it that rendered it obsolete during actual combat scenarios, or they had issues with stuff breaking. So it got modernized all the time, but by that time it just got such a bad reputation that the Canadians went back to the Lee Enfield rifle, and so the Ross rifle just got put on the surplus market, and a lot of these were actually really good for hunting. Now, 303 British has gone up in value. A lot of the cartridges have gone up in value. I mean, so like it's hard to get ammunition at a really good price these days for 303. But going back to the Ross rifle, yeah, it's a project. I want to restore it back to original configuration. It's going to take time. It's going to take money. It's going to take effort. So I think when I do my goals video for 2025, one of my goals is going to be to finish a lot of my projects. A lot of projects I've been sitting on. Really need to get them done. So well, that's it for the video. Definitely appreciate you tuning in to the last one here if you stuck around. And don't forget to check out my website to get a t-shirt or a hoodie. And pulverize the like button. Subscribe if you haven't. Be sure to learn history and curate history. Make it a great day.